morning, Tom!
Good morning.
Oh, my goodness me. Listen, so many spoilers, so little time, thank God. So we've only got to get through 15, 20 minutes of chat without spoiling things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, you've been schooled in this because you've been doing the rounds.
Yes.
With who, for example? Who might be in this film with you, Tom?
Well, Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth are in the film, but there's also a host of amazing Australian actors and people from all over the world. And yeah, it's easier to talk about other things than the plot, actually.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that, shall we? Let's stay on safe ground. Okay, we can talk about bits and bobs that are in the film. You are... Can we say that your character's a driver? Can I say that much?
Yeah, I think you're allowed to say that, yeah.
I'm allowed to say the driver of a very special vehicle, a road train. So Aussie Jane, who's actually Australian, our producer, and she says you nail the Australian accent. So do we
That's
are we a control round of applause for Tom's Australian accent? I think, yes? Yeah. How about that?
Thank you.
Aussie Tom. Yeah, Aussie Burke.
Right, the last thing George Miller said to me when we finished, he went, I'm glad we went with the Aussie accent. He was very brave. And I thought, God, it was. Thank God I didn't even think about that at the beginning. It just seemed like a sort of necessity to me in terms of establishing that character for various reasons.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth, his Aussie accent's all right because he's Australian.
Well, he's doing an extraordinary performance, and he based part of the sound of, he told me the other day, on a seagull, on an Australian seagull, which sounds a lot more aggressive than a British seagull, I have to say.
Yeah, I've got one of my favourite jokes is a seagull joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't seagulls fly over bays?
Why?
Because then there'd be bagels.
That's good.
Yeah, it's all right. I like it. Good. So Hemsworth is all right. He's doing all right, isn't he? But we can say that his character's proper baddie. I mean, proper
I think
baddie.
That's quite clear from the trailer, isn't it?
Yeah. Proper, actual baddie.
Yeah.
Fine to not like him.
I mean, there's some nuance. There's a lot of nuance in there as the movie goes on in terms of what's brought him to that. But yes.
Praetorian Jack.
Yeah.
That's your character. Jury's out on him for a while. Again, I don't know how far to go with this.
Let's
Jury's out.
Yeah. Let's let people make their own minds up.
This is the kind of territory we're in. We can say that he drives this massive truck, which is an actual road train. I didn't know. I've heard the term road train. Of course I have. But I didn't know it was a thing. It is a thing in Australia, the road train.
Yeah. I mean, I mainly heard it referred to as the war rig because, George and Nico flip up language and want it to sound other and interesting. But the road train.
Why might it be under constant attack, your vehicle?
Because we're transporting these things that have, a very finite amount left, like the oil and the gas, as they call it, and the bullets we move around as well. So that's all part of the surviving. Okay,
so loads of stunt people, the oldest stunt person on the film was 83.
I've never met a jaded stuntman. I was thinking this the other day. I've met a lot of jaded actors and a couple of jaded directors. I have never met a jaded stuntman.
Right.
It's a good job for that
Did you meet the 83-year-old?
I think I did, yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't in that day, but I think I did him. Do you know what? I don't think I even clocked he was 83. I mean, that says something about their whole attitude.
Yeah. Maybe he wasn't 83. Maybe he just looks 83.
No, he really didn't.
Maybe he's overstunted.
Maybe.
No, okay. 41, what is it? So 41 stunt people, 35 sets of teeth.
Yeah.
This is stunt teeth or just, what is this? Did you get...
Mine are my own. And by that, I mean the ones I was born with. I don't travel with several pairs.
Okay, but huge special effects, huge wardrobe, huge hair and makeup, huge... Tell us about when you land on a Miller set, what is it like? How big do they get? What's the vibe? How come human beings aren't overwhelmed by their surroundings?
Well, I mean, it starts at the top with George, but you never feel like you're in a rush. But that there is the clock ticking. So you walk to set and you want to just stop and you want to just look at everything.
Right.
And then in the middle of a take, you want to just freeze and go, what on earth is that person wearing? And can I just look at that gear stick? And where's that going? And you never have time to take it all in. You say, can I just take home the continuity photos and just look at each one? Because the detail, the idiosyncrasy of every single glove and every it's just amazing, and every department really has a sense of, even though it's George has this amazingly big vision, but he wrestles with every component with each of the departments to get it right. So everyone has this sense of authorship.
And he also has this great protocol, doesn't he, on set before you you shoot a take, what happens?
You do what they loosely call a preamble, and it can be very different things. And it's just something to imaginatively get the temperature right between however many characters. And sometimes it's very verbal, and sometimes it's physical, and sometimes once or twice it was just he said try just screaming. But everything stops for that. This big machine just stops to get the emotions happening,
get the energy right,
and the energy.
So it's a clearing, really. It's an energy clearing. So you can. It's a neutral. It's like when you.
I wouldn't say it's a clearing. I think it's a summoning. It's a raising of something. You know?
Right, like an orchestra tuning up, perhaps.
Yeah, because it's easy to walk onto a set like that and just feel like you have to be cool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And actually, he doesn't want that. He wants to see people affecting each other.
Yeah. That's the great thing, isn't it? Especially about big franchises nowadays. They've got so much more of a heart than they used to have, because it is all about. We were talking about AI last week and about people constantly worried about AI. And an artist said, okay, AI has its issues, as all new inventions have had through over millennia, not just hundreds of years, but even if an AI could recreate an amazing work of art, I wouldn't care, because it hadn't been done by a human.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point about even these epic movies, isn't it? It's the story, man.
Yeah, totally.
You know, it's the conflict, it's our vulnerability.
Yeah.
It's our weaknesses. Our weaknesses can be our strengths can be our weaknesses. It speaks to all that stuff.
And it's not just about this performance, that performance. It's about the space between people.
Yeah.
As well.
How long? God, I've got to be careful with the spoilers. How long might it take, from a number of pages in a script point of view, if one were to have a very epic, adventurous, impressively
I don't know where this is going.
chase through?
How long did it take to film?
Yeah.
I think.
Can we say it's 15 minutes to chase on the screen?
Yeah.
Because it's
Is that what it is?
unbelievable. Yeah, it just keeps on going, man.
I think that was 77 days.
Right. For one chase scene.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
77 days.
Yeah. You can film
2.5 months.
Yeah, you can film 77 days. You can film 154 episodes of Neighbours in 77 days.
Right. It was my favourite bit, that bit. And the guy who is the big stunt coordinator and the second unit director, he kept coming up to me and go, I think he had this. I sometimes give the impression I'm far more well-read than I actually am. And he came up to me, he kept saying, you must be very frustrated. And I grabbed his arm at one point. I said, I'm loving this. I will do this forever. Please, I don't want this to end. And they occasionally go, we think we might give you a line. I'm like, I don't need a line. I'm really enjoying just the looks.
Yeah.
And the gear stick and the wheel and
Yeah. I mean, that's what Clint Eastwood. I mean, they do say that the American actors often, when they came up with against the Brits, literally against the Brits back in the 50s and the 60s, the Brits used to count the number of words if they were new to Hollywood on the script, and the American actors would come and cross as many out as possible because it was the screenplay.
The silent soliloquy.
There you go.
It was once called.
So this epic chase scene is 44 pages of script with very little dialogue.
Yeah.
And okay, so how'd you do that? How'd you do it?
You're part of a team, so there's shots where this is actually for real hurtling down a road in the middle of a desert.
Yes. Desert closed for the day.
Yeah. And then
Diversion.
Literally, no.
Where?
There was
a couple of thousand miles left.
There was literally, I think, a fence up those days, which is usually. And then you're doing all the cutaways of like gear sticks and things, and then you're doing all the stunty stuff with people, ascending and descending on various contraptions, which I won't give too much of a spoiler to.
Big cranes.
That's all happening. Yeah, and it's like 180 degrees around you. Even when there's bits of green screen going on, there's flames coming up one side, there is smoke coming up another. The whole thing is rattling away because they've literally got a machine to make the whole war rig move of its own volition, even if it's stationary. There's leaf blowers on one side, make sure
Well, they're movie leaf blowers. I mean, they're like super leaf blowers.
No, they are actual leaf blowers.
Actually?
They actually
Wow.
You'd see somebody on their front lawn with
Pretty
them.
cool.
And there's people on wires, and there's a car actually hitting the bonnet and rolling over that's being moved by. It's
It
extraordinary.
made my mind melt just watching it because I don't know. I mean, obviously he's done it before, so he knows what he's doing. But still, the pressure, because the next big movie, the next big action movie, has to be bigger than the last.
Yeah.
And how far can you take him? Well, it seems it's infinite.
And you have an idea that somebody who's doing all that would be crazy. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he's got his own unique, beautiful craziness. But you imagine somebody with a kind of loudspeaker thing, kind of screaming angrily at people. George is the most calm person in the world. I mean, I've never met somebody so nurturing and courteous.
Yeah, sounds like you might be in love.
I am a bit, yeah.
It's so cool. How much do you want to say about the plot? Who's Furiosa? For those who don't know, who is Furiosa?
She's this character that from the very first moment we see her, it just sets her up as a real original individual. She's constantly making choices to that you go, oh, okay, you're gonna do well, okay, wow, okay. You know, she's relentlessly courageous throughout the whole movie, and I think the whole world he's created, he kind of creates these scenarios where it's all about surviving.
Yeah.
But then there's these moments where your humanity can confront your own sense of survival. It's like, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to let that happen in front of you? Are you going to step against the tide for that person?
Yeah.
Are you going to...
When do we break the rules?
Yeah.
You know, maybe of our own beliefs and our own standards. But so Anya Taylor-Joy, who's like as big as it gets now on the planet. So she plays a younger Furiosa than before, but there's a younger Furiosa within the film.
Who's fantastic.
So tell us about the even younger Furiosa.
Well, I only met her like yesterday, but because I didn't have anything with her in the movie.
Right.
But she's superb. Yeah. I mean, it's quite a lot of that, isn't it? Before you get to Anya, and she really sets that up. And also the actress playing Charlie, who plays Furiosa's mother, is extraordinary.
Yeah, no, it's all super cool, man. And it is. Movies don't get any bigger, do they?
No.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and Hemsworth, he sort of lives and breathes this scale.
I guess, yeah.
Does one learn from the old? I mean, he's still only young, but in many ways, he's the old master.
I mean, you learn from people like that because they got such warmth and class about them, and you just go, okay, yeah, that's what you got to bring to the set.
How fit is he in real life? Is he like ridiculously?
Yeah, he's just so good looking as well. You just get lost sort of looking into his face.
But his biceps and his triceps,
they're huge. Yeah.
They're bigger than my legs.
Yeah.
And I'm not exaggerating. They are actually bigger than my legs.
Yeah.
And so how is he when he walks around?
No, I mean, I think that's what's brilliant about him. He's got, you sort of imagine somebody who's that size has a very particular physical centre that they can only play from, and actually he's got a fluidity and a mobility in the way he plays Dementus, which is kind of slightly at odds with the physicality, not his physical, but at odds with his kind of shape, and it makes it a very interesting character.
Yeah. How long in all? If it's 77 days for the chase scene, how long?
I was there between 5 to 6 months. I'd initially been told 6 months. They kept saying that my manager kept saying, it might go over. And eventually I went, you've said that several times. Like, how much are we talking? She said, that's a very good question. I'll get back to you. She said, I've tried to ask this question. I can't get a straight answer out of anybody who was on Fury Road. Like some people are saying 2 months. So I kind of went out there not knowing if I was going to be out there for a year or 2 years.
But lots of moving parts. It doesn't get any. I mean, this is like old school, isn't it? Scale wise.
Yeah.
Like because all movies used to take like a year, didn't they? 6 months a year, 18 months.
Yeah.
How long was everybody at it for on this one?
Oh God, I heard that. I think it was 8 months in terms of actually shooting.
And when did you finish?
I finished, the year before last, I think it was, if not the year before that. Yeah, the year before last, August.
And do you sort of have to forget that you did this for a while till it comes back and it's out, or?
I literally almost felt like I'd forgotten in terms of it started to feel less and less real. I started having to pinch myself again, like I had at the first kind of 5 weeks of the shoot. And then even when we were in Cannes,
Oh yeah, how was Cannes?
Oh, it was amazing.
Oh my gosh, how was Cannes?
I sort of sat down in the movie theatre and thought, I need to pinch myself because I'm really scared. I'm going to wake up and this is just not even happened.
Because you were in. We've got a theatre near us where we were in Whitstable in Faversham, right? And you were at the youth theatre in Faversham.
It was.
I mean, youth theatre in Faversham, which is lovely.
Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely lovely. Yeah. To the Côte d'Azur, to the Cannes Film Festival, and to this massive, massive film. Just talk to that a little bit, if you wouldn't mind.
Pretty cool, man.
I mean, you forget. I mean, this was like beyond my wildest dreams. I remember reading about not only this movie but this character, loosely described in some headline or some little snippet in one of those online magazines. quite a while before I got it, and I remember thinking, wow, that sounds amazing. That's not the sort of job I get. And I know I get really nice work, don't get me wrong, but it's
how
funny.
come? How just for other actors listening, how can you get the nice gigs, man?
It, as my mother said, it takes true grit, because you get a lot of knockdowns. You get a lot. You get a lot of like, we really liked you, everybody wants you, but somebody at the top is just thinking it has to be somebody who's done this, that, and the other, and so you start to feel like a kind of budget version of other people. That's even if you're a budget version, and then at some point, somebody like, in my case, well, I guess Nicholas Winding Refn to a degree, it was a smaller part, and Joanna Hogg had seen that I did, and you go, oh, thank God people are seeing me as an individual, and as something actually original that might bring something that nobody else would bring. And that's what every actor wants, really, to feel like you've got something that is, uniquely yours. Literally, it was like Only God Forgives. This, in terms of my movie career, and my movie career was non-existent for so long. Only God Forgives, The Souvenir, Mank, I got off Soderbergh. I didn't realise till after recommended me for Mank off seeing Souvenir. George had seen Mank and Souvenir. I wouldn't have thought I would do those two parts and somebody would go, stick that guy in a Warwick. But, George is George, and then I'm now working with Soderbergh.
What's nice about that is you began the whole riff with, unless you've done this, that, and the other. Now you have done this, that, and the other.
No, I have.
He's done the this, that, and the other.
You've done the other.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Do you have a production company yourself?
Not yet.
If you do, please call it this,
This, that, and the other. Yeah.
That would
Okay.
be great, wouldn't it? How's she driving in real life?
I grew up in the middle of farmland, so there was actually quite a lot of
Bit
opportunity to get the Need for Speed impulse out of one system.
Big steering wheel.
I'm pretty mellow now as a driver.
That'd do it, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Right, I know you got to go at 9:40 because you are like the busiest. When did you get back from France?
Yesterday.
Okay. Was it great?
Yeah, it was. It was. Do you know what? I did. You never quite get used to the sound of.
Who'd you see?
I didn't see
Sorry,
that
I
many people. It was
interrupted.
like,
I'm too excited.
No, I was just going to say that sort of machine gun sound of people going. Ta, ta, hey,
right,
ta.
right.
You never quite get used to that. There's always a little, and I don't think anyone does.
Who did you hang with? Come on.
It was Anya and Chris and
Just
Kieran, my
in the bubble.
publicist, and Chad, who's done my hair, and just a nice little group of people. My friend Lloyd Trott-Rada, who helped me come up with some backstory for the role. He was out there with me.
You got to hang.
He got to hang.
Nice,
he got
man.
To, yeah.
All right, brilliant. It's gonna be massive, isn't it? It's gonna be massive. Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. It's out a week today. It's all the fun. It never stops. It does have its highs and lows, even though which is difficult, isn't it?
It's got kind of lyrical moments.
Yeah, because it's got to crack on. Because it's got to do what it says on the tin. But obviously, you can't just sell. You got to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just sell.
Which Fury Road did as well. I think it had those moments, but yeah.
Wow, what a thing! What a great thing to be part of.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All
Chris.
right, where are you going next?
Do you know what? I don't
don't
even know.
know?
If I look too close, if I start scrutinising the schedule, it gets so scary. I'm just like, lead me around like a sheep.
Yeah, and the more you look at it, the more tiring it is before you have to do any of it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us here.
Thank you,
It's
both.
really
Thank you
great to
both.
see you, Tom. Big fans, honestly.
Thank you.
Great film. Furiosa and Mad Max Saga. It's out a week today, and everyone's going to love it.
Virgin Radio.